Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1571B, and today's date is May 18th, 2018, and the title of the episode is Q Warned Us, Bad News About to Break. Let's get into the economic collapse, political, and geopolitical news. Now, very soon, we're going to see some bad news hit the airwaves. And today we saw an event, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. And we need to understand that it's like the wag the dog type of trick, a distraction. And what's going to hit is the Inspector General's report on what has been happening here and what they've been investigating. And we discussed this yesterday. And this is why Q has been talking about April showers bring May flowers, and I do believe that this is going to bring May flowers. Hopefully the report is not a dud, and so far what we're getting and hearing from it, I don't think it will be. Now, something very interesting, I think Mueller's case is completely falling apart right now, and there is nothing left. Right now, Special Counsel Mueller, he handed over an unredacted memo to a Virginia judge on Thursday, outlining the scope of his wide-ranging probe into Russia interference in the 2016 election. Now, there's just one problem. The memorandum written by Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, that was filed under seal in the Eastern District of Virginia. Remember, Judge T.S. Ellis, who is overseeing the case, wanted more information because she was looking at this saying, I don't see Russian collusion here. Where's the Russian part of it? Now, this memo that was created, which is unredacted, nobody can read it. The 3-page memo that Rod Rosenstein wrote on August 2nd, 2017, explaining why Manafort was a target of the special counsel, well, only the judge can read it. Nobody else can. Now, remember, the judge said that this case was in jeopardy if the special counsel didn't produce an unredacted copy of the original order from Deputy Rod Rosenstein authorizing the original investigation. And Ellis also said that Mueller shouldn't have unfettered power to prosecute Manafort for charges that have nothing to do with collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians, and called on the Department of Justice efforts in the case as an attempt by Mueller to gain leverage over Manafort. Now, Judge Ellis also noted that the special counsel's indictment against Manafort doesn't mention Russian individuals, Russian banks, Russian money, Russian payments to Manafort. The judge also questioned why Manafort's case was not handed over to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Virginia, rather than the special counsel's office if it's not Russian related. Now remember, Q said Manafort was a plant, and we're getting word that the FBI did put plants and embedded them in the Trump campaign. And we know that Q came out and said Carter Page was one, Manafort was one, and I think Mueller wants to keep this with him because most likely Manafort is a plant. And I think once the Inspector General report comes out, this is going to complicate everything, and everything is going to start going down the toilet here. We see that with the case of Sergei Skripal. We see that Sergei and Yulia, they were both released from the Salisbury Hospital. Now, Yulia was released on April 11th. Sergei was just released. Now, no one has seen them. Nobody has spoken with them. They've been reportedly taken to an undisclosed location for their safety. So this story continually gets weirder and weirder. And once again, Russia is saying, well, since they're in really good health, why can't we speak to them? Putin was out there saying, listen, if this was really a poisoning, they'd be dead by now. So what happened here? What are the results? And the doctor's saying that, because of privacy, we're not going to release the results and how we treated this and everything like that. But they made it a really big deal to blame it on Russia. And now no one has heard from them or seen them. I mean, you can see this is a complete cover-up. With North Korea and South Korea wants to mediate the North Korean summit. We'll have to see how that goes. We also see that the corporate media made a very, very big deal about a Russian bomber that was flying off the coast of Alaska. Now remember, they were in international airspace, but the corporate media made it a really big deal saying, oh my God, U.S. planes intercepted a bomber. They're escorting the bomber off the Alaska's coast. And they were using this to push fear into the public that Russia was about to do something. And once again, when you look at where it was flying, what was happening, they were in the right. They were in international airspace between Russia and Alaska. They were flying the bombers. The U.S. sent up planes to intercept, and they just escorted the Russian bomber through it. And Russia has released a video showing you this, showing how the bomber was flying. They weren't going to bomb or do anything. This was the corporate media making it a really big deal to scare people about, Russia coming to attack us. And they haven't let up on this at all. We see Assad has met with Putin. Putin said that the recent victories against the terrorist groups in Syria have now paved the ground for withdrawal of foreign forces. U.S., Turkey, and the rest of the forces need to leave Syria. And they also said that Syria is ready for political process. So we can see already that everything is being stabilized in Syria. They're ready for a political process, and they want all countries out of Syria. And Merkel is saying the same thing. We're ready to promote political process in Syria. Now, this is very interesting because with this Iranian deal that has been canceled by Trump, we know that the European nations were looking towards Russia, going to remove the sanctions, and now Russia has these countries saying, listen, we should have a political process in Syria, and all countries should be out of Syria. I wonder if this was part of the plan, because now Merkel is agreeing, and the other European countries are going to agree, and I believe what's going to happen is the coalition forces are going to start to break up in this area. Once they start to break up and say, yeah, there's going to be a political process, we're really not allowed to be in there because we didn't have permission from Syria, we need to leave, what is the U.S. going to do? Does that mean the troops are going to come home? Most likely, yes. Now, I wanted to talk about the event that just occurred. And once again, we're seeing something happen where the corporate media is pushing it out there. It's about gun control. And they're continually pushing their agenda. Now, what's very interesting about this, if we look at Q's post 1401, this was on May 17th, 2018, at 1:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 1:13 Eastern Standard Time. That's p.m. Q said, the hard part for us is having to wait for the public to know what we've known for a very long time. There is no bigger threat to them than the public being awake and thinking for themselves. Why are we here? Q. And then Q posted at 1:13, what is the common theme when bad news is about to break? Against them. Stay vigilant. Q warned us a day ahead of the event. That's what just came out. And Q also posted on May 17th, bomb disposal team, bombs about to blow, which means they know, they are told, controlled, both coordinated, clowns wear masks. So once again, it looks like there was a warning here. And it looks like they knew that this was going to happen. Basically, it's like wag the dog type of distraction where they need something to clog up the news cycles to distract from what is coming out. And it must be pretty darn bad because the timing was absolutely perfect. Now, of course, they're out there and they're reporting that it was a 17-year-old student, Demetrius. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name here. He went in there, and it looks like the Texas governor is out there saying that the weapon that was used was a shotgun and a .38 revolver. Now, of course, when the news broke, they said it was an AR-15 and things like that. And again, they're out there pushing gun control. They want this in the news cycle, and they're going to keep pushing this. And what's very interesting is that this individual, well, it looks like he was on a sports team, and he was on the Santa Fe JV Indian football team, and basically he played a huge role in stopping the Tours running game. We also see that Facebook, Instagram, well, Facebook was taken down, but the corporate media has, a picture of it. Instagram is still up, and every person that he's following has to do with weapons. So there's only 3 posts, 4 followers, and 13 following. And looks like the photos are from April 24th. Now, of course, CNN and all the other corporate media news outlets, they're out there pushing this very hard. They're bringing up all the statistics once again. CNN is bringing up all the shootings that happened since Trump became president. And they're out there saying that this is number 22 mass shootings. But when you look at their data, and we went over this once before, when you look at their data, it's not really 22 mass shootings, because if you look at it, you can see that some of this has nothing to do with mass shootings whatsoever. Yes, they might have been shootings, maybe like a BB gun, which was one of them. Here, we'll read through some of these here. On April 20th, Ocala, Florida, a 17-year-old student at Forest High School was shot in the ankle shortly before students were to walk out as part of a national protest against gun violence. That's not a mass shooting. April 12th, Missouri. A man was shot in the stomach in the parking lot of Raytown South Middle School during a track meet. April 9th, Gloversville, New York. A student shot another student with a BB gun. March 13th, Seaside, California. A teacher accidentally discharged a gun during a public safety class. I mean, some of these things have nothing to do with mass shootings, but they're using it as part of 22 mass shootings. So we can see right now, this isn't exactly truthful here, because you really need to go through every single one of them and understand what was happening here in each one of these. So we can see right now they have a certain agenda. They're going to be clogging the news cycle because bad news is about to hit. Q did warn everyone about this ahead of time. Even in the reports, we said that the deep state was getting ready to use some type of an event, because we understood and we knew that the walls were closing in around them, and we knew it was going to be very soon. And we can see that here we are today, and let's see what happens, because the bad news is about to hit. We all know what happens when bad news hits, which is against the deep state. They take action, and this is what we are seeing. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.